My only experience was this guy bringing me into the simulator. That's how I learned. Steve got me into golf. And in the movement that Steve has created, he's basically got everyone that can't play golf into golf, and we still can't play, but it's awesome. No, and I like it. And the way I look at it, Ben, I want to get, it's always this thing with skating where it's like, what is it, that movie with Cap Rooney, with Jamie Foxx? It's like...
Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, I'm Cap Rooney, dude. I keep skating and I'm like, oh, I'm done. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I kind of want to do some more stuff. And I'm like, I can't do golf yet. I could do it, but I can't quite do it yet because I want to go do that. So I'm like, the golf, I keep it to where I'm getting a little better, but I'm not ready to dump a couple other things that I currently do. I always thought about golf before Steve. I was like, I'll get into it when I'm older, so I love it and I'm highly into it, but I'm going to do that serious, consistent lesson later.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of the Par 3 podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Malbon. We got my man, JR Ben Baller, and one of my favorites, designer, skateboard legend, entrepreneur, real ledge, Mr. Sal Barbier.
Welcome to the first tee.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right into it, Sal. Not too many people have heard this story, but Sal, why don't you tell us your first memory of golf?
My very first memory of golf was my friend was hitting in the backyard. I didn't know what any club was called. I didn't know anything. He's hitting in my backyard. He's 10 feet away from a cinder block wall, and he's trying to hit it with I know now, but back then I called it a fairy stick, because it was the smallest one in the bag. It was a wedge. And I was like, walked out of my house, and I said, dude, what are you doing? I was like, grab the man stick. So I jumped in the bag, and I grabbed the biggest club you could find. I know now it's wood. And I gripped it, probably with a good baseball grip, because I didn't know how to swing. And I swung it as hard as I could, and I missed. And he didn't say anything, and I go, yeah, move out the way, man. I don't know what you're doing. You got to put some power in it. And I swung it as hard as I could, and it hit the wall, and it came back right in my face. It was about 10 feet away, and I knew then that I had, like, a lot of power in my stroke. It ripped a hole in my lip, cracked my tooth, and I went to the hospital in the emergency room, and the doctor was all... Whoa, man, he called everyone in there. He's all, tell him what you did again. He's like, if that would have hit your eye, it would have been stuck in your skull. It came back. So I know from hitting on the simulator and going out to the range, it's a totally different experience when you gauge your power against a wall.
So let me understand
10
this.
feet away.
The guy was chipping at the wall nice and easy, and you said, get out of the way, let me show you how it's done. You grab a wood or 3-wood or driver or something, hit it as hard as you can directly into the wall, and it ricochets back and hits you in your lip.
Yeah, I was about 10 feet away.
That's probably one of the worst golf injuries I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was. I was afraid to play golf for a while after that. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
It's a dangerous sport.
My lip was hanging down. In Louisiana, they had golf courses on these Breck parks, and they were completely flat. I didn't know they were golf courses till now. They were completely flat. There was no sand. There was like, I'd see people hitting we would run across it, and then they had a flag at the end. That was it. It was like straight goat grass to like a flag, and that was it. And I called there the other day to try to help with a skate park. And I said, you could just put it in the golf course. There's no way anyone plays there. And they said, yeah, well, you're kind of right, but we're going to use some of that area for the zoo. So that's why I didn't know about all these things, you know.
And growing up, the first love sport you had was skateboarding?
No, I'd probably been in the NFL. I was like a really good safety in the 6th and 7th grade. Then I had dreams of basketball, and I did that in the 8th grade. And then I noticed in high school there was a reoccurring theme where it was like, you know, I got pretty good at basketball, and then I had one F on my report card, and my mom's like, you cannot play basketball. And then I went for the tennis thing, which was a little bit later, and I made that team, and same thing. It was like, you got one F, you can't play tennis. So I always kept an F, and it kind of ended every sport that I tried.
But skateboarding.
Well, I would say that I was really good at cross country and track, and the coach told me, Barbier, we can fix that F. Don't worry about it. But I was starting to ride my BMX bike, and I was like, I just started doing that first. I preferred that. I was training in 9th grade. I was very determined in sports. So I was running I set my watch. It was like every other day I was probably running like an hour and a half and running up hills at the end. And I was like, I'm going to win state, because I went to state as an alternate in cross country. And every time I would run, I would pass all these kids that I knew. They were skating and riding bikes on a ramp. And then an hour later on my way back, before I was going to get to my hill regimen, I saw them there again. And I just cracked after a while. I was like, that looks like a little bit more fun than what I've been doing for about 2 months straight. And then it became BMX first. And then from there, you know, I got a skateboard. I did the same thing with the bike. She was like, you have an F, you're no longer riding the bike. So
God damn.
She had no idea there was like a skateboard it wasn't even a thing yet. So I had the skateboard in the house, and you know, I took that out and started going on all the ramps. And it was interesting because I felt like I was a natural at all the things that I was getting into, you know, because there was a guy that did BMX in the neighborhood freestyle, and he's like, I'll give you a helmet, I'll give you all this stuff, just don't skate, because no one rode with him. And I was getting pretty good, and I went and it worked all summer. I got this crazy Eddie Field GT Pro Performer, really expensive. And then out came the F again, and she was like, you can't ride the bike until you clean that up. And I had the board in the house, so I took that out, and then that was it.
And so fast forward, what was skateboarding like prior to that day? And then through your career of skateboarding, kind of what was the transformation that you saw and obviously was a part of? Well,
I was going to be a jock before that. Jay, you would have known me. We would have been battling. We'd have been a different conversation right now. It would have been like, you know, I might have been Jordan, you might have been Pippen. I don't know. I was determined.
I like that.
Okay. And, you know, the antithesis of that is like, okay, well, fuck, you got an F, you know, what do you do? Like, what this is like not a sport. It's kind of like a pastime with a lifestyle attached to it, where it's all kind of like the rejects go to, right? Because in high school, it's like, you know, public schools are different in Louisiana. You know, in the 9th grade, you know, it's like, imagine you show up with Jordans. And for kids that don't know, this is like when Michael Jordan's playing, and you show up with these Jordans, right? And you skated in them. And they're like, it's a public school, right? So they're just like, they got snaps and Def Jam jokes for days. I'm like, God damn, really? Like, you got to come over here and see this. Like, it just, so you're kind of like the lifestyle, the music, the people that do it. It's kind of like an alternative thing, you know? It's an alternative thing for maybe some people don't like sports. Maybe others are good at it and decided not to do sports, but it's got its own lifestyle around it. So it was like, you know, in the 80s, it was kind of like, oh, well, you know, you got cliques in high school. So it would be like, well, those are the weird people over there. Weird music, torn up clothes, like just totally unacceptable, and stereotypically, I always lived in, black neighborhoods. So riding that board back home was like just the most uncomfortable thing ever. I mean,
bro, in the 80s, I remember when Nadas, like when I was skating around LA, Nadas was rocking 85, in 85 and 86, he was wearing Laker color Jordans, you know what I mean? And that was OG color shit, and you see these dudes rocking, Jay's was like, that was it, but you had to have bread because they were $65, $70, which is, equivalent to $300 now today.
Yeah, you're a sneaker guy, so it's Louisiana, so it's interesting because there's maybe like 5 or 6 of us in the neighborhood, not in the neighborhood, 0 in the neighborhood, 5 or 6 in the high school. And think about it, when you got shoes, it was like you wore that pair for the whole school year.
Yeah.
Right? So you go through it fast. It's like 2 days of skating and it's already ripped up. So you can imagine as the year progresses, the jokes get better. You put shoe glue on it, it's just like over with. And then the first time I wore Vans, they were like, "Oh my God, he went from Jordans to Kmart." And it was like they were having a field day. They'd never seen Vans in Louisiana. They were like, it was the snaps were like Steve Harvey level. It was like every time, like, you go to school and you're skating back then, it was like, it was a pretty cool experience because we were, outcasts, but pretty cool. So nobody gave us that hard of a time, but it was like a friendly, never-ending dig,
What do you think the correlation between skateboarders from that are your age all the way down to like these young kids today and their like obsession with golf?
Well, skaters today are completely delusional. I mean, I look at it like this. I come out to play golf. I got the Play It Again Sports bag, Chi Rodriguez clubs. I'm like coming out there. I'm like, move. I'm like, I Play It Again Sports, team Play It Again Sports. I'm like, I'm hitting with McGregor balls that have negative, they come back after you hit them. Like, I'm hitting with the worst shit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you guys really suck. And they're like, dude, I'm like, no, you lost. You barely beat me. But you're like, I'm like, I have to give you an analogy. It's like if I was like, JR, man, I've been playing basketball. Can you talk to some people at the Lakers? Like, I want to come out and try out. Like, I've been playing pickup ball. I'm getting pretty good, right? That's what these guys are like. I'm like, dude, do you realize I try to use you as an example all the time. I said, it's like, dude, if I gave Steve a skateboard and Steve hit me back and was like, dude, I've been doing it for like 4 years, man. Can I come to the park with you? I'd be like, yeah, you can come, but Steve, be careful. Like, you missed your window. Like, the window was when you were Remy. You missed the window. Like, I try to, and I ask them all the time. I say, there are no stories in golf where the guy's only been playing 2 years. He's just as good as anybody. They don't have those, do they?
It's a tricky one.
Oh, come on. Okay. Are there any stories of people over 40 that have those stories that have only been playing for a year and a half or 2, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, that guy, he could swing with the best of them?
No, it's like me learning to skateboard at 47. It's going to be hard to get really good by 50.
Well, you know what I mean, and you don't want to call any names because their skaters are delusional. Like, they're delusional, and the fact that
who's been beating you? Curtis,
here's the way I look at it. If I tie you and I beat you, then you're on the other side you're on the municipal side of the game. You shouldn't be on those trips with Steve. You're slowing the cart down. Nobody wants to look for your ball that you hit and get a case of McGregor's. Like, quit asking for the Vice ball with the NBA team on it. You do not, you're wasting balls. Now, see, and someone didn't believe me. I said, dude, look, I'm not going to use any names. I said, look, man, last time we played, I beat you by 12 strokes.
On a par 3.
Yeah. And they're like, that's not possible. I said, oh, yeah, it is. I go, you that was gracious because you picked it up. How do you pick it up on a par 3? Or you're like, just pick it up, dude. Just pick it up. like don't count anymore. Then I found a scorecard from another victim, and I said, well, what's this? They were like, it's not possible. I go, read it right there. So these guys, so I'm realistic. I know where I sit. I don't want to get fitted for clubs yet. I'm cool with the Chi-Chi setup. I don't want to get, I lost, you gave me that Pelicans ball, you know, shout out to the New Orleans Pelicans. I was really into those balls. I lost every one of them. I'm like, dude, I should have saved those. And so I figured out, I'm like, I've always been rational. I never had this thing where I was like, man, I'm going to get these clubs. I'm going to get fitted. I need a Scotty Cameron putter. You know, I was always like, nah, dude, I got to wait till I get fitted, because I looked at my swing. I fixed it now. But when I looked at it, oh man, it wasn't that long ago. I will say that. It looked like Charles Barkley combined with Ken Griffey Jr. It was all arms. It was like Hercules. I was like, dude, like, and I didn't talk about it. I didn't brag. I always said, like, man, yeah, I said, I got a terrible swing, but you guys are, you know, you're just as bad. And the thing I found about golf, what I like about it is I like to talk a lot of smack, and you're stuck with me for 18 holes. And mentally, I've already broken you down. And, you know, Curtis is a perfect example, because I'm like, you're supposed to win, dude. You've been playing for like, I don't know how long, but I already beat you once. And like, that's insane to me. And so that in his head has just broken him down. I told him, I said, there's levels to it, man. I said, I'm not going to beat Steve. It's not going to be like, Steve, man, I almost had you. I'm like, no, there's levels, and some guys are up there. I know where I'm at right now. I don't want to, I don't want people going, man, he tried to get on a trip with us, but nah, dude, not yet. You know what I mean? I get that. And I'm like, I equate it again. I say, I'm not bringing Steve over to Upland to ride the pipe either. He ain't ready for it. I'm like, so... And I feel weird about lessons too, because I'm like, what do you get, a 700 pack of lessons? I was like, what do you, like these guys are like, I got a lesson today. I'm like, how you got one? You need like you need to live with someone like Karate Kid. I don't, like at a certain age, how do you do it? Be realistic.
Bro.
I will challenge. I heard you had a tournament. I was praying that, like, please, someone do a tournament of the people. Call it the people that don't play that well. Some of them think they do, others no. And it could be me battling out with Curtis Fanucci. And every time, you notice how every time I play someone like that, you bet against me and you lose. That you're like 0-3.
Do you play, can Javier Nunez? Can you beat Hobbs?
I love Javier to death, but that was the scorecard I pulled up. It was like.
What's Hobbs' index? Like, what do you think it is,
Hobbs, in Hobbs' defense, he said, man, I don't care about that. I skate. Okay, so I can live with that all day. And I was like, Hobbs, I'm just messing with you,
What's
man.
his handicap, though?
We just say extremely handicapped. Like,
oh, wow.
We didn't even, look, that's my point. I don't have a handicap because I don't want to know. I don't even I don't even go out like that. You know, I've played on some really nice courses, and I lost a lot of balls. That's my...
That's your handicap. You lose a lot of balls.
I didn't know what that, but people are like, what's your handicap? I said, it was extremely handicap. I can't tell you. Like, what?
Not in my defense or anybody's, but like, I didn't want to go into it unless I was going to go into it, right? Of course, I caught the bug, but like, he was like, look, get a coach. And my coach was like, look, I'll drop you in a second. You know, like, I don't do that little funny shit. You do 5 weeks. So like, oh, you feel good. Okay, cool. And then take 2 weeks off or take this. You know, if you're serious about it and, you know, you really go see it and you really understand where, you know, it took 3 months. I'll think about something he told me 3 months ago. I'm like, oh, that makes sense now, you know, and throughout a year, well, a little over a year I've been swinging, but I mean, it's been barely a year since I've been playing rounds. The lessons had to help, you know, because I stuck with one person. I didn't go to YouTube. I didn't watch a bunch of other people, but I'm starting to understand things. Even when he tells me something like, yo, you know, ping pong, like JR's like, yo, when you think, you know, think about a top spin and just things like that, little things I pick up. But if you're out there, I mean, look, I get it. Some people, a friend of mine told me, he's like, hey man, you actually went out there and tried to get good. I just wanted to go out there and play. And I respect that too. But
I understand trying to get good, and I'm all about doing that. But I do it with so many different things that I don't I'm serious. Like when you had the simulator, which messed up my game big time. I needed a cinder block wall, but the simulator was giving me false readings. I can gauge where I can gauge where it hit when it hits me in the face, but that really threw off my short game. But no, I'm really serious about it. Like but you know, what am I going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? I get it, but at the same time, I understand where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I'm not like, Steve, dude, let's do this. Let's partner up, you and I, in this tournament. Like, I think we can get them. Use your money, not mine.
But you know what, though? I'm going to say this, Sal. Do you remember in 2009, London Hotel, undefeated party, in a basketball game? Most Def performed. Do you remember? I remember you got mad at me because I was one of the judges. Me and James Bond, and it was a dunk contest.
I know I won that dunk contest.
Yeah, I know. And you got mad at me because I didn't
see me, JR. It was.
He did win it though, but I was actually shocked.
Hey, hold on, really quick. And what's our man? Oh, I was insane. I was on fire. What's our man? Coltrane.
Coltrane ran it. Yeah.
Coltrane said, "Jesus Christ, where have you been all this time?"
What dunk won it though?
Which dunk you want? You know what I started out with? What's the girl who came out? Candace Parker. Shirt off, man. Then I went into the Vince Carter.
My bad. You know what?
I was doing every
It was
dunk.
Coltrane. I thought it was you. Coltrane got mad at me because you won, and he was like saying, man, he actually went on like a blog back then. He's like, man, Ben Yang hated on me, blah, blah. This whole Ben Yang, not Ben Baller.
Was Coltrane in it? Or was
he wasn't.
He was the event production
Dude,
guy
I grabbed the dollar off the top and put the change and dunk. Come on. I did every dunk. I did dunks that people.
How high was this rim?
I forgot.
It was like 8.5 feet. It was like 8.5 feet, 9 feet.
That I was doing. I mean,
but he was out there looking.
I was serious.
He was really for real about it though. Like he was like if it was the Masters for us, like he was really out there going.
What won it when I jumped over? Remember, I set up the foul line and I had my man on the skateboard throw me the lob.
I got the picture in the phone.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I cry every time.
That was 14 years ago.
You sure you still can't give me that audition with the Lakers?
Hey man, they need some shooting.
You know the point I was getting at. You could understand this. Like I'm like a basketball fan. So when I get into something, you know, like I love watching golf, I love watching basketball, I love watching MMA. So I was like, you know, I did Muay Thai for a while, right? And then I understood what the people were doing. So in basketball, I was always playing, and I was playing in all the, you know, YMCA, all the spots that all the same people go to. I even went to Venice once, which everyone's nice there. So I was playing everywhere, and I knew my limitation because I know people that can ball. And the thing this is what I didn't want to be in golf. I was like, this dude, you always meet the guy that you ends up wanting to fight you. And I'm like, this guy is really like, this is what he does. And he's really going at me. And I'm going to pick up my kids and go skate and do it. This isn't even what I do, but we're at the same level. That's what I was getting at. I was like, man, you are trash. You need to have, like, I got a lot of things I could tell you that I do on why I wouldn't even, you know, like I got excuses, man. Like that's not what I do. But, you know, so in golf, I was like, oh, I'm never going to be that dude where it's just like, you know, you're looking at me sideways where you're like, dude, he's out of his mind, dude. Like, so I'm serious about it and I get it. And I'll do the lessons, but not yet. No, because I did one and I was like, you need like 200 of these.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. And I was like, so that's why I said I thought it was funny when these guys are like, you know, I got a 5-pack. I was like, what are you trying to do? You know, I was like, what are you trying to do? I think you want to play me and try to get a shot at the best guy who can't play in the sea of shit. Dude, like I'm the champ.
We played with him. We go play at Weddington with the kids from Supreme Come, like Curtis and the Nuge and all of those dudes.
Nuge.
And fucking Sal walks up to Curtis on the first hole and he's like, what's with that fucking Limp Biscuit bullshit Janko jeans fucking outfit? Like, who are you? Insane clown posse? Just first hole, dude, never stops. He rode the motherfucker. Curtis couldn't even respond.
have seen the
Curtis
kid.
is
Is
looking
Curtis
at him
any
like,
good? Though I
please
know Curtis
stop.
since he worked at Valsur. Is he any good?
I beat him once. No, you gotta suck. Sorry, Curtis. If I beat you once, you suck. It's just like, it's just. I'm like, it's like it's unbelievable. If I beat you once, dude, you're out of the conversation. You are freaking out. Like if I play at Roosevelt, I could tell you what's gonna happen.
That's the last time I played with Shields.
McGregor is going into. It's gonna go in that forest, bro. And the second shot, it's gonna hook back and do the same.
You guys
thing.
played together at our tournament at?
No,
Yeah,
we only did 3 holes. Remember, and
At
then you
Roosevelt.
cut across and you went and played with the better people. Maybe you're one of those guys.
I mean, I was. Damn, man. Why you gotta put me
You
out there
left
like
him?
that? Well, I wanted to play with Malto, so it was like, because it was just, it
He wanted
wasn't
to play
like.
with the better people. Maybe Ben is at the level of the better people.
Malto's good.
Malto's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I know that. And I asked you, and it's skating, golf is like surfing, right? It's like, no, it's not. You know what? Golf is like a bad photographer that used to skate because people are delusional and they're like, Steve, you coming to my photography show? And you're like, God, no. But they think they did something, right? So when they're playing golf, they're like, they think they're doing something. Golf is one of the things where people think they're doing something, right? And you're like, dude, are you serious? Like that is like, I thought my Charles Barkley King Griffey shit was bad, but what are you doing? Wow. Like I've seen people standing and doing all just standing this way, trying to hit it over there. I'm like, man, like relax.
This dude is really, this is the most amazing.
Oh, fuck.
Analogy.
I knew we weren't going to get many words in when we had Sal come on. So,
but I will say I've graduated to the next level. I can no longer play municipal with goat grass. I see it's levels to it, man. And I can no longer remember the old days, Steve. The old days, I'd be like, Steve, let's go. And Steve would be like, I ain't playing that shit. And I was like, he's such a snob.
He is.
And then I figured it out. I'm like, dude, I am almost there. The next step to this will be like a really good course that's over $10.
Like Angeles National or something like that?
Exactly. I played Shoal Canyon. You ever play there?
Yeah.
Dude,
Shoal's fun.
Why do you think I stopped after the 4th hole?
I mean, their greens
No,
are
why
terrible.
do you think? JR, you're first.
I would say the fairways.
I had no balls left. I went through 100-pack of Costco. I was like, God damn, dude.
You had the Kirkland ball?
I could not, they had like gaps and stuff. I was like, dude, Jesus, can I drop it somewhere? Gaps. It's difficult, dude.
Shoal's fun, man. This is short course.
So let me break it down, Ben. This is what I think. This is how I think this is when I think that you're on the bottom level. If you go to the tee, right? You go to your first shot. Okay, and this has happened to several people that wanted a shot at the lower tier title. We're playing at Weddington, right? The first shot, they hit it into that bush. Now, if you know how to play, don't you at least get contact every time, or do you have like 4 or 5 shots on a 9-hole where it's like it went like maybe 6 feet or something? I'm like, dude, that is insane. You guys are insane. I played. Look, I'll tell you I'm going to rat some people out.
Go ahead, please.
I'll tell you the best Fanucchi story. I looked at the scorecard. I had never even hit what was in my bag. I didn't have a complete bag. I only hit on the simulator and putt, right? So we were going neck and neck, and I looked on the card, and I'm like, dude, I hadn't been playing that long, Steve. That was when you first got me. That's the only place I went to Weddington. And I looked at the card, and this is where your coach comes into play. And I had him till the last hole, and then I imploded, right? But we were tied. Then I hit it, and it went to the fence, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's a stroke. I said, no, it's a drop. He said, no. He's like, I'm going to go ask the people. This is how serious he was. I'm going to ask the people inside. He went, and the people inside said, oh, the skins game here, you just drop it. You don't count it. He wasn't good with that. So he walks over it all the way through the thing finds your coach, and he's like, what happens if you get it up against the gate? Right? Not here, just in general, right? And then he's like, oh, it's a stroke. He's probably talking about some PGA stuff or something.
Right.
Not house rules. And then I have that scorecard, and then it's like, he beat me by a stroke. And I was like, dude, you're god awful.
And he's played forever.
remember what you said? You said that you're not going to get better. He has stuff in his bag that predates Mo Norman and Played Against Sports. I had never seen that. They're like Civil War relics. I never seen people hitting with.
You're talking about hole 9 though at Weddington, the 100-yard,
the 9.
Yeah,
yeah,
because you said the fence, all the way,
yeah.
We almost to the clubhouse.
So he basically said, whatever. Then I have the card. I'm like, he beat me by a stroke. I'm like, that is insane, because you can't play if you got me by legally, it would have been tied.
Legally.
I'm saying, but I was like, dude, that's insane. I could not hit the thing, could I? I could not hit it yet. I had only hit on a simulator and been to putt-putt. You guys have putt-putt out here?
No.
That's what they call it in Louisiana, where you had a cute little commercial. You could Google it, and it was like you want to hit it in between Lincoln's legs when it's doing that. It's like a miniature golf.
Yeah. Putt-putt.
Yeah, they got one. They got a couple of them out here.
The putt-putt chain exclusively is what I was asking.
I've heard of it before, yeah.
Okay. And I didn't. And
but I learned how to play at Weddington.
For the record, I didn't have much time at putt-putt, so don't try to say I was playing at putt-putt before I got out there and was close to him. My only experience was this guy bringing me into the simulator. That's how I learned. Steve got me into golf, and in the movement that Steve has created, he's basically got everyone that can't play golf into golf, and we still can't play, but it's awesome. No, and I like it. And the way I look at it, Ben, I want to get, it's always this thing with skating where it's like, what is it, that movie with Cap Rooney with Jamie Foxx? It's like
Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, I'm Cap Rooney, dude. I keep skating, and I'm like, oh, I'm not. I'm done. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I kind of want to do some more stuff. And and I'm like, I can't do golf yet. I could do it, but I can't quite do it yet because I want to go do that. So I'm like, the golf, I keep it to where I'm getting a little better, but I'm not ready to dump a couple other things that I currently do. I always thought about golf before Steve. I was like, I'll get into it when I'm older, So I love it, and I'm highly into it. But I'm going to do that serious, consistent lesson later.
Do you still have the net and the mat in your backyard and all that shit? It's been a long day. Time for a long drink.
The finished drink.
Proud sponsor of the Par 3 podcast, Long Drink.
Get yours at longdrink.com.
Cheers.
I didn't have the mat. I didn't have the net. I had a mat, and I was hitting the plastic. Right? I was hitting the plastic.
You were hitting something,
balls,
sending me your swings in the backyard.
And you, like a true friend, didn't correct me on those swings. I blame you for my swing. He's giving me some.
Okay, so Sal, hold on, man.
He gave me some. He told me all this stuff. He told me you got to hum. Remember that time? Yeah. He was like, you have to hum. I was like, la 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 la. I was like, what the hell is that? He's like, you got to hum. Then he's like, dude, you got to stay. You quit using your arm. Don't get your arm. I like did all. Every time I was like, Tim, dude, I'm doing. He's like, I'm doing what Steve said. He's like, Steve's a good golfer, a horrible teacher, man. I did everything he said, and I figured out what was wrong.
I'm asking you because you're not 27.
Right.
When do you feel like you're ready to get lessons? I'm just curious. What are you waiting for?
Well, I would say that, I age a lot less than most people, So my it's incredible that I look like this at my age and I'm still able to. Last time I checked, I jumped a car in a parking lot off a ramp. I was like, move. And so I'm like, I got time because the stuff I did before it is like, it's really hard and rough on the body. And this I feel like is, I don't know. I feel like it's like, I'm not wasting time when I go out and do it, but it's kind of like if I took a whole lot of time with lessons and everything, what am I doing with that? I'm not entering tournaments. I'm not doing anything. I like playing with my friends, and I could see how easily I could separate from the low tier to the high tier. I don't want to leave them yet. I don't want to just leave them yet.
Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
I want to stay
fair.
back with them. I feel bad for them.
That's fair. Okay. That's fair. I mean, Steve got me into golf too, you know? Like when I was thinking about it and everything else, he was the one that led me into the right direction.
You haven't been playing that long, have you?
No. May 2nd was my 1 year anniversary of playing rounds, like actual 18 holes.
So how many years?
Not even, I mean, we're talking 1 year and some weeks.
Jeez, you're like one of them skaters that's like, I've only been skating for 2 years. And you're like, 2 years?
But you know,
You never hit or anything before that?
yeah, I mean, I hit my first ball in November 2021.
Okay.
Like never swung a club before that. But I got really serious with it. You know, I was practicing 6 days a week. You know, I really, really fell in love with it. And I realized how bad I was. And when I looked at the swing, like, God damn, that's so fucking terrible, so embarrassing.
When was it that your swing got like, where you were like, I got to swing. I'm going to call Steve. I'm going on the other trips. When did you see the other side?
Probably October, November this past year.
Okay. And you never played with the low tier players, did you?
Honestly, no. I always play with good people.
I knew it because I called you and you dismissed it. I said, man, I got something for you. First of all, I wanted to give you something. And then I was like, dude, you're always at Whittington. Let's play. I'm not going to break you down mentally. I like you. You know, you're not gonna...
man, it's all good. Look, we're not going to get into the whole crazy shit that's going on in my life right now. But no, I mean, I think, I don't know, man. It's. I mean, dude, I pivoted. This is what I do for a living now.
But you're also a Bitcoin millionaire, correct?
No, man.
You have time. You have time, all the time in the world. Bitcoin millionaire. I'm saying you can do, like, you have time to do it, right?
I do. I make time.
Yeah. Like I said, it's always difficult. Like, you know, two things I'm really good at is like I can skate and I'm really good at music, playing guitar, right? So those are like difficult things that take a whole lot of time. You know what I mean? And with golf, I'm like, all right, I know skating at one point, you know, I look at guys doing, I look at older guys that are doing like weird things that wouldn't excite me because of what I've done. You know what I mean? I'm like,
of course.
Man, I don't want to go back. I'm not going backwards, dude. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
When it gets to that point, that's the problem. I probably never will. But if it got to that point, I'd be like, oh no, I'm done. Like if I couldn't jump up on that table or something, I wouldn't just be like, man, it's still fun. It'd be like, no, it's not. It's a terrible feeling. There's nothing left to it. And then, you know, I like golf a lot, you know? And I think about it all the time. You know, I think about like, all right, dude, you know, like, how do I get that over? Like, did I fix it? You know? But like I said, I know the commitment that it's going to take. And
no, yeah, it is a commitment.
And I looked at it from the point of, you know, with my son, I was like, I'm going to get him good because I don't want to be the dad that's like, wait in the car. And I got like the 50 pack of lessons, and it's like, gee, you didn't get him 3? It's like, I'll get him. I'll let him get good.
Look, this is going to be the last skater I bring this story up because we've had Costin and Malto on here. And I just have to tell you because you said delusional. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. You know, I grew up in K-Town and you know, I skated with Hosoi and Nadas and all these guys. And I remember like probably through junior high and high school, I was a pretty decent skater. I was all right, you know. And then I didn't really skate. Like mess around a little bit, you know, here and there and kind of touch a skateboard. I own skateboards. I've always had skateboards in the house. And I told Costin, hey man, what's up with these GX 1000 guys in San Francisco? They follow me. They want to go out with our boom. I had no idea, bro. What they were doing is like, I've played with the best in the world in golf. I mean, literally the best player in the world. I've played with them. I'll do that 1,000 times on TV anywhere before I ever go skate a hill in San Francisco with GX 1000.
Yeah.
Dude, and then like a week after, one of their main guys died. And I was supposed to be with them. So I was like, yo, when you get delusional, it's a different level of it. You said there's levels to it. That's
don't mistake me what I said, because it's like the thing where people get delusional in general is like, you know, golf is going to take time. Like, is that what you did? You know, like incredible people that play really well. It's like, you know, like, well, that's what they did. You know what I mean? They started, and Steve will say like, well, you were skating when you were a kid. I was playing golf the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's like, but there are a couple of things like, you know, like people do it with art all the time. It's like, man, your art sucks. you know, but they think they did something. And they're like, Steve, you coming to my art show? God, no. It's like they think, and golf is one of them things where it doesn't expose how bad you are. You think you're doing it. People, I don't. I know from all the other stuff that I've done. I was like, that's the guy I can't be. So I see it and I'm just like, man, you're not doing anything. You know, your swing looks as bad as like your swing is like Barkley style. Like
Sal takes engines apart in Jeeps and shit, and then cleans everything and re-puts the engine back.
It's actually
plays the guitar.
It's BMWs, okay?
BMW
and Fords.
Engine builder, fucking all
like
types of
2002s,
hard
what,
shit.
like old school vintage?
No,
or-
like E39 M5.
Oh, E39, okay.
So I you know, like I said, I get into some hard stuff, but I get it. You know, it's like some people did that, and I say like not, you know, it's not like people that skate are delusional. People that do one thing really well,
Yeah.
and then think like, you know what, man, I could just go do that. Right. But it's like, dude, you're starting that. You know, you're actually just starting it. They don't really tend to do that in many other things, right?
Yeah.
But it's because you get the lifestyle of like, people are going to do bad art. They're going to do bad photography. They're going to do, you know, maybe it's golf. It's certain things that don't expose how bad you are. You know, a lot of people rap. That like
I was just gonna say rap.
It's like
Rap is definitely one of
I was gonna
those.
say.
but you know, it's like because they're popular in one thing, and then they're like, dude, I could just jump over there and put this album out, dude. And it's just like, it's
No.
things that they think they're doing
Please
something.
stop.
Yeah.
Like, bro, please stop.
Now you know how I feel when I watch people play golf.
But you know, like there's the guy. It's like, hey man, I'm not listening to nobody. Follow your dreams, bro, no matter what.
I agree with that.
And you're almost turning 40, and you have never been good at
I
rapping.
agree with that.
Okay, well,
I'm just saying like it, but you know.
No,
there's-
I'm saying
I agree
those
with
are
all
people that really probably need to stop. Be like, okay, bro. But at the same time, in the world we live in today, you could be really good at what you do. It could be golf, it could be music, it could be dancing, it could be whatever. And you still might not make it,
Yeah.
you know, because it's just, there's so many different, you know, aspects of becoming successful in something. What is that? What does success mean to you?
I think anyone can do anything, but I think they have to apply. Like if someone's really good at like, say, surfing, then they have to apply that if they start playing golf or whatever and say, okay, I get it. It's the same journey. It can't be like, well, dude, I'm killing on the surfboard. Like, why wouldn't I just all of a sudden walk into golf and be that guy?
He a good example with
Yeah.
him. He's really good at basketball and then wanted to get really good at golf. So then there's like a strategy, not hope. I want to get really good at golf, so I'm going to do this.
That's the question I had. Like, what from, you know, there's basketball, football, baseball. You guys get a lot of spare time in the off season, I would assume, you know, and which guys are best cut out for golf? Is it the guys in baseball that pitch? Is it the lineman that's 400 pounds? Like,
I think in each sport, it's a correlation between a quarterback, because the throwing, baseball throwing, basketball shooters, hockey players, like certain slap shot artists or whatever. But like baseball, certain guys who hit home runs. Like I was just in the Bahamas and watching Ken Griffey swing. It's like one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. Just like you would imagine, like his baseball swing is just as good as his golf swing. And then you look at other guys like Derek Jeter, who's just a base hit guy. He's hitting every fairway. It's just certain knacks.
so
that
baseball
you have
has, you know how to swing a bat properly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is it similar in terms of hips and?
In terms of hips, yes, but the dynamic of it is like they're more like chopping down and chopping wood, and in a golf swing, that's gonna do nothing but create that huge slice. So, in a sense, no, because their square is a little different than the actual golf swing, to me anyway. But I haven't played baseball at their level, so.
Oh, I would know because my swing is, you might as well pitch me the golf ball. I'm using arms. I'm coming in like He-Man. I'm like,
Oh
Ain't nothing
my
wrong with that,
God,
man.
bro.
by the way, I fixed that, okay? I figured out what you couldn't tell me and what your simulator was wrecking in my game.
Tell us about the Off-White SLB project that you just did.
Oh, that was great. You know, I was a fan of Virgil. You know, streetwear, it's always been like, you know, what is someone going to do? Put a color on something? So it was interesting to me when, you know, I'd always follow that guy's career because it was so interesting. Everything he was doing was like, oh, I would have never thought of that. That's kind of what it was. It was, you know.
And he really respected the world that we came from.
Yeah, he understood it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when I got an opportunity to talk to him, he knew my background. He knew the stuff I did. And it was really cool because I was like, dude, I wouldn't be short on ideas if I could, you know, work with you. I always wanted to do, you know, when you do shoes at like a skate level, when you design them, you know, with skate companies early on, you have a lot of ideas and you're pulling stuff from the Nike catalogs. And when it comes back, it doesn't quite look like what you had in mind. And so your resources and your design and the person you're working with, you're really limited, you know, being a consumer of all things fashion and always, you know, taking several trips to Italy, always trying to make something and not having it show up back here, you know. It was really cool because it was like, you know, you figure working with him, it was great because he was like, all right, you know, he understood like the valuable side that we have is like graphics. You think of skateboards, you think of like anytime high fashion borrows something from skating, it might be something graphic based, right? High fashion, well, we always borrow like the fits, right? Like if shirts all of a sudden get wider and, you know, a little bit higher, it's like, well, we're getting that from them. It'll revolutionize like the fit, right? So it was great to work with someone that could contribute. You know, you're like, you do the fits, I'm not going to tell you anything. Let me apply the artwork on it, and then let me put like you know, you see a lot of high-end fashion companies do like weird skateboard projects where they have weird skateboards that super expensive. You don't know what to do with them. I was like, okay, let me give you an option. Maybe you want to leave it. I don't know if you've seen it. You know, it's like maybe you want to leave it in a packaging. It's kind of cool. Or you want to take it out and do something with it. So it was a true collaboration where two people got to work together, you know.
Two legends, man. That's dope.
That's dope. It's really dope.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, no, man. This was not what I expected. And you fucking kill me, Sal. Like, this was amazing. And I can't wait to see Curtis and all of them. And
Curtis is always he's going to be mad, you know. I mean, I think his background is Frisbee golf from his outfits. But he'll hate
Sal,
that.
I'm going to give you my new number.
Okay.
We're going to go to Weddington.
Okay, when are we playing? What do I got to do? Where do I got to get to? There's a level.
Let's go to Weddington next week.
No, there's a level. JR is like, I don't know, dude. These skaters are some weird. This should be talking my ear.
Bro, I played with Nuge a couple weeks ago, bro. I had a ball. So
you went with Nuge?
Nuge is the greatest, man.
Nuge has been a victim of mine.
Guys. Shout out to Bergie She Wrote.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you play with him?
We played out with Angels.
Okay. Oh, so you do the low tier.
Yeah, for sure. What? That's why I'm a common guy. I'm the people's champ.
Steve won't hit on anything that doesn't require like.
No, Angels is legit though. It's just a lot of people don't want to spend that kind of money.
No, Steve only hits on the finest. If you haven't noticed.
For sure.
That's not a fake Instagram. That's
that's Country Club Steven for sure.
Yeah, he won't stoop down to the, you know, play it against sports package. You know, he won't go down to that level of municipal.
Where's my hat at, bro?
That's why I called you, but you didn't call me back. Were you ducking me? Were you ducking me because you didn't want to play me at Weddington?
Bro, I'll play you anytime at Weddington.
You got a lot to lose if you.
No.
See, you have too much pressure on you.
My first hole-in-one was at Weddington.
I know.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan is a Ben Baller
get his
of basketball.
Ass when you play him,
you were doing all types of stuff. You are legendary. I need an exclusive interview with you because the progression and everything. You know,
I got to get you on my other show for sure.
I got to give it up to you. You're serious. You're locked in.
Definitely, man.
And I'll play you for 1,000 a hole.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Sal.
Over now.
Appreciate it.